In this video, we are going to take a look at how to use Squish for testing an application running on an embedded device. This picture shows a typical embedded device testing setup. While the Squish IDE runs on a local workstation, the application under test is executed on an embedded device. The connection for the test recording is established over a TCP/IP network connection. This is an embedded device that is based on an IMX6 board, and I'll use it for the recording of a test. To establish the connection from a local workstation, I will use the Ethernet connection of the embedded device. The device has been prepared by using the Squish Embedded SDK. You can either start the application through a special component called Start AUT, or you can use the built-in hook to accept connections from a remote Squish installation. You can find links to the documentation of both approaches in the video description. The example application I'm using for this video is called Electric Car. It is started when the embedded device boots up. The binary of the application is not started directly. Instead, I'm using the tool Start AUT and configure a port which I will use for the connection later on. The next step is to configure the Squish installation on my local workstation. I have to register the application under test. This is done in the Server Settings dialog. I switch to Manage AUTs and add an attachable AUT, which is the correct setting because I started the application using the Start AUT tool. I need to enter a name and specify the host name of the embedded device. Finally, I need to enter the port number, which I used earlier when starting the application on the device itself. I'm ready to start a recording now. I already prepared a test suite called Embedded and created a test case. So I will start a recording right away. Squish asks me which application I would like to choose, and I choose the green box, which I have just configured. Now Squish establishes a connection to the embedded device. You can see the application running on the device in a video capture through a webcam. I can now make input to the application and Squish will record all of that. So let's change the gauge on the right hand side, for example, the heating of the electric car. Since I made some input to the application, I would like to verify the output. In order to do this, I create a property verification to check the value of the gauge which is displayed. This works exactly the same way as when recording applications locally. However, when I use the picker tool to select the object I would like to verify, I need to tap on the device to select it. So I select the picker tool, select the gauge which I would like to verify the value for, which makes it show up in the application objects view. The objects you will find in here are runtime objects of the application as it is running on the device. I would like to verify the value property, which shows the value that is set to the gauge. So I enable it, which makes it show up in the verification point creator. Finally, I click on Save and Insert Verification. This brings me back to the recording. I could do more input, but I'd like to add a second verification, which makes sure that the gauge is actually painted as expected. I can do this through a screenshot verification point. The creation of such a screenshot verification once again works the same way as when testing desktop applications. I can use the picker tool and select the application object in the application itself, but I need to tap on the device to do this. Once again, the gorge object shows up in the application objects. I enable the checkbox in front of it, which makes Squish create a screenshot from the runtime object. The screenshot itself is taken on the device and it is transferred to my local workstation. It will be stored together with the test suite as the reference image for the playback of the tests later on. So I'll store that and finish the recording, and finally I will see the test script which I have just created. The test execution uses the same architecture as it is used during the recording. So once again, the connection is established over a network connection, in my case using an Ethernet cable. However, I could replace the local workstation by a continuous integration server or any other execution scheduler. Also, I could use a number of embedded devices, for example with different configurations, and execute the same test on all of these devices. I am going to execute the test using my local Squish installation. By clicking the play button, Squish will execute the test script and it will make the same input I've done during the recording. It will also execute the 2 verification points, making sure that the value is set to the correct value and that the gorge actually looks like we expected. You can check the results of the verification points in the test results view of the Squish IDE. In my case, everything went fine and we can see 2 pass messages.
That's it for today's video. You can check out Squish on your own by requesting a free trial. You might also be interested in trying out Coco, which is a multi-language coach coverage tool. If you have further questions, get in touch with us by writing an email to squish@froglogic.com. You can also reach us through social media, which are linked in the description below. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel for more interesting videos. Bye!